Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, it's Joe Montella out here in Los Angeles with Illustrators and Writers of the Future. Hope everybody enjoyed all the archives so far and all the interviews we've done. I know John Gruden's got quite a few interviews that they'll be seeing also. They'll be posted on the same pages of these. I know y'all sometimes think it's double interviews, but John interviews one way and I interview one way, so it's just nicer that way. Remember, people, I will be on Coast to Coast Tuesday night, so y'all can come harass George Laurie. There will be Q&A at the end of the show. I think it's the fourth hour. It's Q&A. I know for y'all that is the wee hours in the morning. I think out here it's 12 midnight to 4 a.m. For our people out on the West Coast, it's 1 a.m. For my people on Central, it's 2 a.m. And for my Pacific Coast people, it is 3 a.m. Of course, if you're on the other side of the planet, it just depends what country you are in. In London and places like that, it'll be probably not quite afternoon. Probably around 11 or something. So be sure to tune in and have a lot of fun. Okay, what's going on here? We don't care if you can't stream Twitch. Not like we care. Anyway, we have this very nice young lady in front of us who's an illustrator. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself properly?
Hi, I'm Natalia Salvador. I'm an illustrator from Spain, and I do mostly work in a more children's style of like for middle grade and young adult in fantasy genre.
So you're overseas, winning night, first time, second time, third time?
It's my first time
Oh my God! So
in the
you
US.
submitted first. Yeah, what is it with all the first time winners this year? I'm just. There's been a bunch this year, which is
Yeah.
strange. Nice big international. I think we had what nine, eight. So we had six from, three from the UK, three from Australia. You're from Spain. I think we had two others. I think it was nine.
Yeah, we
overseas.
have one from Singapore,
Yes.
one who was born in India.
Yeah, it's just such a first group. That's one of the reasons they brought me on board with them is because we have such an international audience.
Yeah.
And he said, "Do you think they're here?" And I said, "No." I said, "I think what happens a lot of times is we broadcast. Someone hears it and they add Writers of the Future to a site somewhere. People find the Writers of the Future site and they submit. And that's the whole goal. I'm so happy to see such a diverse group, an international group. It's so nice because, you know, it helps let people understand we are one world.
Yeah.
And we can all get along and we can all behave. And Mark, yes, it's Europe, it's still it's one world. You don't even know what the EU is. Sorry that people shooting questions. While we're talking, goofballs. So first off, let me ask you this. First off, what made you think you could illustrate?
To be honest, I think I never thought about that. I've always drawn, and like it was a natural path for me to go to college and study fine arts. I liked illustration, and I thought in college I will learn about illustration, but I soon found out that people kind of looked down into it.
Yes.
But yeah, wow.
I don't know why though. I mean,
No,
to
me
me,
neither.
see, a lot of people in my family are quite good illustrators. A couple went to college and actually do it for a living now. But to me, it's a great thing because the best illustration I can make is a stick person. And even if you gave me like one of the computer programs, it would still be a stick person made out of a computer image. I'm just not, and so it aggravates me when I see real talent. People look down on real talent. I think a lot of times it's because they're jealous because they can't do it themselves. I meet a lot of people who want to pick on illustrators or pick on writers, and they're thinking, "Really, can you write? Can you illustrate?" And if you heard me when I was doing that lecture this afternoon, I'm serious. If anybody ever gives you trouble, you write to me, and I will deal with them for you. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not kidding when I told them this, why they were laughing, but it is. Somebody said I'm a defender of everybody. I said that's not really true, but for people who have talent, they're getting into the business, you deserve to be treated better. And sometimes media has just a funky way of treating people. In school, sometimes my daughter when she went into college she went to an art school actually, and she said that she got there and she was doing her art and she was great. And then when she was taking a secondary course in college, and when she told them she did an illustrator course, they just gave her nothing but trouble. Well, she laughed at them when she got out of illustrator school. She was making $135,000 a year. When she retired, she's making $250,000. And now she just does drawings for she's 44. She's fully retired. Home paid for, property paid for. She owns 3 homes, all bought and paid for. She owns no debt at all. She's got a nice income stream. She's got a nice 401k retirement. She's living good, and all because she did what she wanted to do. But she wasn't going to go. So many people were giving her so much flack in the beginning. I said, "Do you really?" She said, "I can't afford it, Joe. There's no way I can do it." And I said, "Well, I ain't get that much extra money right now." I said, "But just set it up and I'll pay for it." I said, "I'll put it down, then I'll pay the notes and you go to school. Don't worry about it." She said, "I got to pay you back." I said, "You ain't gonna pay it back." Because she was talented. I mean, you could just look at her work and see if she was talented. And I want to see talented people survive success because really, for like y'all, I mean, 5 years from now, they go, oh, I know that work, I know her, God, yeah, go, go, go. You might be doing an art exhibit, I may be begging you, emailing, can you give me a ticket? Can you give me a ticket? But I mean, I really want to. So, children's media, it's got to be hard mediums. I mean,
Yeah, especially for me in Spain because I think my style fits more into the US market.
it's okay,
Um,
you can sell it here.
well, that's what I'm trying, but yeah, it's hard to get responses. So I I th- I s- I hope being here helps me a bit with that. So far, I've made some connections, which are very helpful and well, not only helpful but also inspiring. I'm yeah. After this week, I'm very motivated
So, how'd
to
you
keep.
like Tom and Echo and the teachers? And
Oh wow, I'm I'm going to sound like a fangirl, but
that's
yeah,
okay.
I am. I mean, Larry Elbor is one of my heroes since childhood. So I didn't know. When I came here, I didn't know I was going to meet him, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew about Echo, but I didn't know she would be so nice.
Oh, my God. Well,
So
Echo's
she's
a two sword. You get on the wrong side, but she's great. Great. I'm
no,
sorry.
she's amazing, and all of them has been so they've been so helpful. I mean, they've answered each and every question we had, and they've given us plenty of information.
Yeah, she was. Her and Tom were two of the first ones that seemed to be really nice. Because nobody knew who I was when I came out here last year. All they knew was I was here for press, and they didn't know what kind of press or anything else. They went out of their way to make sure I was nice, and I noticed they did that with all of the illustrators. They worked hard with a lot of and but a lot of the illustrators told me that she had made connections before they had come down here, were helping them finalize art and stuff like that. They all have careers, and it amazes me that they take the time to do it and they don't make any money off of this.
Yeah.
People ask me, how much you get paid? They're not getting paid anything. They're here for the artists. And no, we're not going to ask you to be fair with it. I don't get you in no trouble. they might get offended or something. So going back to the children's book for thing. Last year, I talked to several illustrators who they decided they were going to try to write children's books along with the art. Ever thought about it?
Um, yeah, I've thought about it, but to be honest, I'm not very good with words. I used to write when I was a girl, but I mean, I went with art because I found it easier to tell stories through art. That's why I mean, my illustrations always have some kind of story going on, even if it's with small details.
Well, I've seen a lot of y'all, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, about how many of y'all were telling good stories with your art. It's not that easy a thing to do either. I mean, people say, "Oh, that's easy." Yeah, not really. I mean, I see a lot of artists that can't tell a story. They can draw a picture of anything, or paint a picture of anything, but they're not. I don't think they think it through to how it's going to play out in someone's mind. That's good that you even think about it. So, I mean, you're already a step ahead of a lot of other people. Um, Favorite medium: paint, oil, computer.
Well, right now I'm focusing on digital media because for professional work it's easier if anybody requests any changes. But I also do traditional media from time to time.
Well, it makes sense to use a computer. I mean, everybody's using some form of CGI or something along these days. It does make sense. It would be easier. I guess too, if you're going to send it to an illustrator somewhere, it's probably easier to just transfer it over, put it on your computer.
Exactly, because
If you did oil, you'd have to box up the paint. That's not got to be easy. They
yeah.
There's lots of venues y'all can get into. I know there's just so many things. Like I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, New Orleans is Mardi Gras every year, and they're always looking for somebody to do their posters. They do a poster every year. Now, the posters usually sell 3 to 5 million posters, and they'll generally give the artist $1.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not exactly chump change. Somebody, well, that's cheap. I said, no, when there's some 3 million posters, it's not. I said, that's a nice little bankroll to your pocket. And they don't always use famous artists. They have used a few. There was a guy who had a series that ran for about 10 years. They called it the Devil and the Angel series. He would paint like a devil with a woman. The devil would be in red, and the woman would be in white, and they'd have his hand on her shoulder. It's a very strange, sadistic kind of art, but it's so big money.
That rings a bell. I think I've seen some of those.
I can't remember his name. But he did go to work. But he was and originally he was doing on the oils, and he sold oils to the city. He made his money, and then a few years after he died, they put the oils up for sale. They made a ton of money off it. But what surprised me is they donated 50% of the money to his family. I was stunned. I mean, New Orleans is a pretty greedy city. I was just stunned to see it. Plans for the future. Now, well, you go home pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, I'm going the 14th. I'm staying a few days after the event. Just yeah, they
Just to
say
hang
it's
out.
my first time here, just to see at least
Vegas,
some
yeah.
some of
I
LA.
know Crazy Chris is going to Vegas and then to Hawaii.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But there's few people told me they were staying for a few days and stuff like that. If I don't get home soon, I'll be divorced, so I can go.
Yeah, well, my husband is here, so
That's a
I'm
plus. My wife
going.
never wants to come in here. I've asked her a couple times. She don't like LA for some reason.
Mm.
She's coming to Roswell, but she don't like LA. I don't know what it is. She don't like it. I said they treat me good. They hook us up a nice room. They feed us. Nope, I don't want to go here. And she's been here before. I was lecturing in Vegas, and I brought her out here a couple of times. And she didn't like it. I was lecturing in I can't remember some other town in Nevada. I brought her out. She thinks that like Highway 1 is beautiful, and she likes, but she don't live here. I guess she's worried about a ground shaker or something.
I don't know that it's a bit overwhelming. There's a
We
lot
have
going on.
hurricanes blow through our house all the time, and you worry about a little ground shake. It's just but I don't argue with it, so that's just how it is. Where's it going next? So working with your fellow artists here, any inspiration, any advice that you enjoyed? I mean, did you pick up any pieces of information that you didn't think of before?
Well, I don't know. What I found very interesting that we have a talk about the industry of video games and a lot of like specific words about the industry and how they work. I didn't know much about that.
It's a good thing to learn.
Yeah.
It's I'll tell you a little secret that when I was doing a lecture, I was supposed to include it, but I forgot. Social media, you can make a lot of money off of. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, places like that. 2 of my Facebook pages generate $5,000 a month each.
Oh.
I've actually sold several Facebook pages over the years too, but so you get a personal page, you work it out till you get 5,000 people on it, and usually it's going to be people who like your artwork. So as you're posting, they want to buy this piece or buy that piece or compliment you on this piece or whatever. Instagram and TikTok are the same way. TikTok has actually went crazy. It's from China and it's all over America, but they sell everything over there. Everything. I mean, I watch people's artwork. I've seen several people that make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 easy, and it amazes me how many people are over there to start off with. I guess everybody's getting tired of Facebook, but that's another thing. All of our Facebook pages are public, especially United Public Radio, so you can actually post on the page. If you ever want to just post some artwork or just post something that you're doing, you go right on the page. If anybody ever tells you anything, one of my admins just said, Joe said I could do it. They're not going to tell you anything anyway, because they wouldn't think you would post if you didn't know me anyhow. It's a great place to post. You can get anywhere from 200 or 300 likes to 2,000 or 3,000, as it scrolls down. Okay. It used to be a lot more, but we have so much material on it now, it kind of moves down the page. But it's a nice place. It's a good place people recognize your art, and a lot of times they'll share it to other Facebook pages. And I know one recent post shared out to about 8,000 different pages, and she was selling. What do they call them? I don't know if you've ever seen these. In the old days in America, they used to have paintings that were Blue Boy and Pink Girl. There's a name for the series. I just can't think of it. But basically, it looks like maybe the 1920s or something. And the boys in all blue and the girls in all pink. It's a series that's been around forever, but she had painted a special set. She sold and she was only selling them for $5 a piece. And I think she sold, last time I talked to her, she told her they did about 10 to 12,000.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have bought them. I thought they were ugly, but that's just me personally. Or it's always in the eye of the beholder, and that kind of stuff is. Sci-fi fantasy, you like all of that? Or?
I'm more into fantasy than sci-fi, but maybe because what?
A lot of the people here are more fantasy than sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean that's what I grew up with mostly. I read The Hobbit when I was 9 and The Lord of the Rings when I was 11. Then I went with Dragonlance. So
The Hobbit got me through boot camp. The Lord of the Rings got me through tech school. They were great to read. And, somebody asked me just recently if I thought the movies did justice to the books. I said they did pretty good. I mean, compared to other movies I've seen off of books, I thought they did pretty good. It might not have been perfect by any means, but I was surprised when they decided to make The Hobbit a trilogy. I think that worked.
Yeah.
Wow. It was a little strange, but it worked for me. But, Lord of the Rings needed to be a trilogy, so that was nice. And then somebody was asking me about J.K. Rowling's work with Harry Potter and all of that. And I'm like, I said, I like JK until she started talking politics. And then I said, oh, that's enough of her. I don't, I got this thing, and I tell artists this all the time, whether they're big and famous or starting new, stay out of politics.
Yeah.
Because somewhere along the line, you're going to isolate half your audience, If you say I'm this way, these aren't going to buy you anymore. If I say I'm this way, these aren't going to buy, so it's just better to leave it. See, I'm essential, so I can get away with it because I'm in the middle. Most people are not.
Yeah.
It's that's a place you ever thought about doing political art? Not as in, how can I say this? Not as in trying to make a difference in it, just political art, because some people do political art with words with it.
Mm-hmm.
But some people just do political art where they'll show like a president or something like that in this weird characterization. I got another friend who does, what would you call it? See, I would send in a picture of somebody, right, and he would do it into a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of money doing
Yeah.
it. His name's Danny Reno. He makes a lot of money doing it. And I was like, it's not that he charges all that much. He says it's not, but he makes it because he does a lot of it. And he's done a lot for people in paranormal things, in the paranormal and UFO world and stuff like that. He does a lot of that. And he was doing it for politicians, but I think somebody got mad at him, so he quit doing it. It's just a little crazy. Oh, how you like LA? You're not from here, so how do you like it out here?
As I said, it's overwhelming. There's too much going on at the same time. A lot of people, but so far I haven't seen much because I'm being here at the workshops. But so far it looks really nice. I've been to a Japanese restaurant this morning, and with a beautiful view. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this place. Again, Coke costs you $10. It's crazy. Yeah, it's not that much cheaper outside though. It's way better than it is here though. I found some sandwich shop up the street up here, so I think I make pretty good sandwiches. But it was nice. I enjoy myself when I'm out here. It's a good thing. Did I scare y'all too bad when I was talking about the press?
No. Wow. No.
Yeah, it's just advice so y'all are protected.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that when you're dealing with the media, you're protected. Most media, in all fairness, are not going to be asses. There are some that are just going to be, they can't help you. So you haven't had to deal with any real media yet, but you will in the near future. I'm sure.
Well, I was interviewed back home by an important newspaper because of the contest, and it was a really nice article. Well, when I first read it, I was like, "Wow, that person looks cool." Is that me?
That's what you want, though. And see, you don't have a big ego. You're nice and it helps. It helps. The articles sometimes help you to if you're shy or withdrawn. The articles a lot of times will help you to get that extra boost of ego you need. I just tell everybody don't believe their own press. That's Fortunately for me, I have a whole team that keeps me from believing my own press. They're always like, "What did you say, Judge?" My station manager will whoop me in the head in a heartbeat. She's got no problem smacking me around. But it's a good thing. You need people to keep you in check. You got a husband, so hopefully he'll keep you in check. Because one day you'll be rich and famous. And,
I hope they will.
Well, I see a lot of artwork. I get a lot of it sent to me. I just don't see the talent that I see here.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I got to meet 2 years worth of winners, and this year I got to meet another. So far, I got to say the majority of artwork I see seems to be much better than the quality I see like in a newspaper or on the internet. Everybody thinks they're an artist on the internet. They don't understand, school helps. That's a question I wanted to ask you anyway. So I know you went to art school, but do you think you have to go to school to be a good artist?
No, not really. And nowadays with the internet, with so many free classes or even paid classes that you can, if you have the will to be have the discipline to follow those courses without a teacher over your shoulder looking and correcting you, I think you can do very well. Anyway.
Most of the illustrators answered it that way too. Even though almost every illustrator I talked to this time had some kind of formal class, they all agreed that they didn't have to.
No, it's not mandatory. It depends also if you want to broaden your view. For example, with fine arts, you don't only get to draw or paint. You can also sculpt, and you also learn about contemporary art, which is very different. So you don't know, or even people who are into illustration and have studied different careers, I think that's also helpful. People with history or art history or even biology. That's, for example, for scientific illustration, that's awesome.
They had a friend of mine used to do that. He used to draw different anatomies, or I shouldn't say that, just different parts of the body. They had him doing it. and they would send him a picture, and he would be like, "Is this what it really looks like?" So then he'd get on the internet and study all over the place and find out where he could find it, and then he'd come back and do the illustration.
Mhm.
And then they would send it back and say, "No, we want you to add this or that, or it should be this color. Maybe it should be blue on this side, red on this side." I guess we were talking about blue or something. Um, because blood's blue until it hits oxygen and it's red again. So I'm like, that makes sense. And he did it for a long time. He made good money doing it. And he retired. He said, "Yeah, I'm retiring." And he was only 40 when he retired.
Wow.
And I was like, "Damn, boy, 40. I'm in the wrong line of work." Oh, Lord. it was a good thing. What would you tell a young young artist coming up? What would you just besides people submit to writers of the future, illustrators of the future? What else advice would
Yeah.
you give?
Not to give up, really, because after college, I was discouraged because of my experiences with people looking down into illustration. So I stopped drawing for a while, and yeah, I wasn't happy.
I'm
So
glad you picked it back up.
yeah.
It's well, most of the spouses let me rephrase that. Most of the people I've had talk about the spouses, they've seen that the spouses were behind them and encouraged them and stuff like that, didn't give them trouble. And if I told my wife I was going to start drawing, she'd smack me in the head. She's doing it no talent analysis. I could hear it now. But other stuff that she encourages me with, she's like, "Yes, you can do that. You can do this." It's just nice to have people backing you up when you're doing this, because there are a lot of haters out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jealous people. I mean, being able, people don't realize it, but serious talent being able to draw or to illustrate. I mean, it's just not everybody can do it. I mean, anybody can take a pencil, but not everybody can do it well. And you wouldn't be here if you couldn't do it well. So now you've got of course Writers of the Future behind. You'll have this interview, John's interview, and we'll do a big interview with you. So that's all stuff you can put in your portfolio, and then you can add your whatever illustrations you want to add. That really helps. And we tell people all the time they're more than welcome to use these interviews anywhere they want. They can send them to anybody they want. You can copy them if you want to use them. We have no problems with that at all. That's what they're for. And I noticed last year quite a few picked them up. Just so you know, because I had the downloads locked unless I knew you, so they would hit me up. Yeah, quite a few of them downloaded it, and we're using it for different things. And like when we get you on, and you can put your illustrations through. See, what I'll have you do is pick maybe 10 of your favorite pieces or 5 of your favorite pieces, and you'd send them to me in the order that you want to send them in, and then we'll put them up there, and you describe the process, what was on your mind when you did it. When you do art, do you have to have a particular mindset? I mean, let me rephrase that. Do you just sit down and do art, or do you have like to work yourself into it, or have a particular mindset?
Um, I don't know how to answer that, to be honest, because I mean, nowadays, since I have some commissions, I just have to sit and start. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not like inspired, I might do some warm up first with maybe I'll copy a photo or do some drawing from videos. Just yeah, so I get the hand warm, and then yeah, and my mind starts like to loosen up and yeah, get free of any other things that are on
I
it.
understand you can't be on 100% all the time. I understand that because people see me. I was a while back, about 2 3 years ago. I was sick as a dog, and the guy said, "You could do a radio show." I said, "Yeah." He said, "No, wait, Jay, you're gonna sound like an idiot." But the difference is, once I get in front of the computer, the camera comes on. I'm on. Now, when the camera went off, I was probably falling over in the bed. But still, it's just part of it. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes you're just ready to do it, which is a big difference. But you sound like you're well on your way. You're confident. You got your stuff together. Getting commissions going. It's just a matter of just keep banging away. And I know that the cons are the different media cons. Well, let me ask you this: how's the EU for like stuff like that? I know we got Dragon Con and Fan X and all that over here, but I never hear anything going on in Europe. Well, not over there either. So
Well, we have like the Bologna Book Fair, which is the biggest children's book fair in the world. But I mean, it's not close to my home, so it's quite an expense, and I have to think about that. And thanks to this event, I've learned about the Lucca Convention, which is in Italy. That might be a thing too. I met another illustrator from the UK, and he told me about the London conventions. So yeah. but
I
we don't have as many things as you
Yeah,
do
well,
here.
Europeans are different than Americans. Well,
Yeah.
except for the Brits, but the rest of the Europeans are different than Americans. The Brits are closer to us than they are to y'all, but I don't know why either. They just are. But I got a lot of friends across the EU and other parts of Europe that are members, and they're like, we don't do that kind of stuff that y'all do. I'm like, why? I said, did you ever think maybe you should start one yourself? I mean, I know that people over there are interested in all of this. It's not like they're not.
Well, we have smaller comic conventions in Spain, but they're more comic oriented.
Spain are right up against each other, right? It's been a while since I've seen them in geography, but they're real close to each other, aren't they?
Well,
I mean, it's not like it's a
there's water in between, but yeah.
I kind of remember, because I'm going to Venice. My nephew owns a yacht. He keeps parked in the Mediterranean, and he flies over. He got a personal helicopter flies that big.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking about going over to the Mediterranean. I mean, to Venice because that's where my family originally from.
Oh.
But then they all moved to England later on. That's why when I did my DNA, I was like, Scottish. Wait, what? I said, my last name's Montaldo. Where the hell is all this Irish, Scottish, Welsh coming from? It's like 48%. It's like, damn. And I was only 16% Mediterranean. Some funny business been going on here. Somebody in the family been lying. But then when I tracked it down, I realized they left like 800 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that explained the delusion.
If you go to Venice, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a really nice
city.
city.
You get to go spend any time down at the Mediterranean? Just nosy. It's beautiful along there.
I mean, well, my city is near. That's the sea that it's nearby. I'm from Granada in the south of Spain.
Oh, well, you're in a good place then. I'd be all hanging out there all the time, catching tan line.
I'm not so much into beach. I prefer the mountains, but
you're like me then. Somebody asked me, "Why don't you go tan?" I said, "Because I'm lily white people." I'm like, I like the beach because I live close to it. But I don't want to go get in shorts or anything. If I go out there, it's going to be usually when it's cooler, maybe it's sunset or something like that. I might take my dogs for a walk on it or something.
Exactly.
Something about getting sand all over me is just. It's funny because when I was young, I was probably a lot like y'all, kind of introverted. I was very shy, very quiet. Matter of fact, when my friends see me now that I haven't seen in 30 or 40 years, they're like, "What the hell happened to you, Mr. Quiet?" I was like, "Well, don't worry about it. I woke up somewhere along the line. A company helped me to build my confidence called Stardust Radio. They contacted me one day and said, "Hey, would you like to be a radio show?" I said, "No." They called me again. I said, "Dude, I don't know anything about radio. I mean, come on." He said, "Well, I hear you talk with that support group's different than doing radio." He's like, no, you got a good voice, you solid, you know what you're talking about. I said, no. This went on for about 6 months. Finally, he talked me into doing one show. It was a big hit. And I said, well, that's great. I got lucky is what I told him. A couple of weeks later, he talked me into another. And eventually, I was doing a weekly radio show. And then when my friend who owned Pioneer Radio in the UK and Hong Kong, when he decided to retire, he gave it to me. So I decided that I was just going to move the show over to there to help out the ratings. Producer got mad, so I left and started my own network. And I've been doing it ever since. But to be honest with you, if you'd have told me this 30 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. Do radio? You're crazy ain't doing radio.
Yeah.
But see, I see you building your confidence level up. You're ready to go. You're ready to get out there. If say like one of the bigger companies like one of the Star Wars franchises or one of the like Mandalorians or maybe one of the MC or DC universes that offered you a job, would you go? I mean, it would probably require you moving over here, but
I don't know. I have my family. I have a 3-year-old, so that's
tough.
Oh,
that's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
I don't think we will move.
Because Spain's a way different life than it is here. I went down about that. My dad was when he was young, he used to go for the bullfights, and he used to spend a lot of time in Spain. And for a long time, I thought maybe our family was more Spanish than it was Italian, because he loved it there. He was going to move the whole family over there. My mom said, "No, it's not going to happen." I'm like, "Why not?" And Mom said, "I don't speak Spanish." I said, "You can learn." I said, "You'll learn eventually over there. If you hear it enough times, you'll learn." I was already taking Spanish in school, so I was ready to go. She wouldn't have nothing to do with it. I just think it's a beautiful country.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to offers.
I mean, if they offer you enough money, I guess it might be okay.
Yeah, it's something I could discuss with my husband, I guess.
I would think the majority of the way the world works, I would think the majority of stuff you could do from anywhere.
Yeah, I think nowadays you can do most things remotely. Maybe if you have to meet for meetings with the staff and that, but
And I
yeah.
know a lot of the groups that I work with these days, we have online meetings instead of getting together.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier a lot of times too. And it's not all the time because sometimes I can get on people, they got their kid running around the house,
Yeah.
their dog barking in the background. Like, well, put your animals up, put your kid out, get the husband, your wife, get the kid, get out of the meeting. Well, we don't really care, but it's distracting when it's so important. But I mean, it's the way it seems to be the way of the future. And whether COVID comes back or goes, I think we're going to be moving that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, they don't have to pay you for an office, put you in an office and keep you there. They don't have to have a big, huge office building to keep everybody in there. And most of the designers and artists can be anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's important also to know your colleagues if you're going to work with them and need to work on the same project. But other than that, if you can get together from time to time and then work from home, I guess that can also be done.
Yeah. One of my big customers, they do advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They do everything on Zoom. They used to all meet at the office, but now what they've done is they've hired an international team from 5 countries and across America. And they just get on Zoom and they meet and they do their work. It's an 8-hour meeting day all day. They're on Zoom all day and they're going over this, that, and that, and the artwork and everything else. And it's right there. And I was talking to a couple, they prefer it. No office, no babysitters for the kids, no doing this. They seem to prefer it.
Yeah, it helps with work-life balance a lot.
And I think it's a good thing because when I was growing up, my parents were always working, so I'd come home by myself, take care of my sister, do whatever, and then they'd come home in the evening times and I'd destroy the house or something. So it was just better, and I wish they would have had this kind of stuff when I was growing up. But it's just one of them things. But it's nice now because my son tells me all the time when he has his kid, he's going to work from Zoom. I said, you can't do construction from Zoom, my friend. It doesn't quite work that way. I said, don't think you can do drafting from Zoom, but you can't do work from Zoom.
Yeah.
But it is nice. We use Zoom, StreamYard, and Skype is what we use these days.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows for open meetings across the board. But let me see where we are. See if we get you out of here so you can get back to your family.
Yeah.
Any parting words, any advice you'd like to tell anybody?
Yeah, just what I said before, that don't give up, and it requires hard work, but if you want to be an illustrator, it can be done for sure.
Website or email?
Yeah, you can find my work and all my social media and email at nataliasalvador.es. It's a Spanish domain.
It's one of the smart ones. Meaning that I've talked to several illustrators that did not have websites or social media. How the hell do you plan on getting anything done without social media or websites?
Oh, it's very important nowadays, especially for foreigners.
Go ahead. I should have put out there broadcasting. I did that yesterday. I had a sign out there that said we're broadcasting. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things. Go ahead and give your website one more time just because of that noise.
Yeah, people can find me at nataliasalvador.es. So there's my portfolio, my social media links, and my email. So anybody can drop me a line.
Well, guys and girls, y'all go pay attention. Visitors, she looks like she got some great artwork, so go check it out. If y'all go look, pay her a compliment, let her know what you think. Let her know, hey, say thank you for working so hard to make the world a prettier place. On that note, guys, what would say? What, hey guys, would you? No, we're not talking about sorry. But anyway, good night, guys. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. And these will all be posted, so you can check out all these in the near future. Any moans, groans, gripes, or bitches, you can write to Michelle because I don't care. Good night, everybody.